Imagine Uganda was a village of 100 people. Of those 100 people, 53 are children under 18, 27 are under 35, and only 20 people are older than 35. 21 of those 53 children have experienced some form of abuse in their life. 12 children come from income-poor households. 6 children have lost one or both parents. 2 of those children are living with some form of disability. Of the 16 teenagers, only 4 are in secondary education. Of the 8 teenage girls, 2 are mothers and 4 are already married. Children at Risk Action Network works with 150 member organizations to make sure that children are safe, well, and thriving. But children in Uganda face many challenges. Girls in particular can often face barriers to accessing education.
We are refugees living in Uganda, and I had dropped out of school from senior 2. My parents could not afford my school fees, so I had to stay home.
Crane has developed a holistic model to ensure that girls can get in school, stay in school, and move forward in their education and future careers.
It begins all by identifying those children in the communities that are actually out of school for a number of reasons, and we start to rapport with them, together with their families, to make sure that they actually gain a need and a chance to go back into school. Normally, when we identify such children in the communities, we lead them into what we call a creative learning center. This is a catch-up learning center where these children are given basics in numeracy and literacy, that is math and English, as a preparatory stage of helping them reintegrate into mainstream education.
I started working with Crane in Creative Learning Center and now integrated to mainstream school. And here I was able to really put this on ground. I met children, like here in mainstream schools, you find the class is too large. Yes, the first thing to do is to learn your children. So I applied the skills I had, the other skills I had to meet the children of different levels and abilities, and now I'm applying it here and I'm seeing it working. Like for example, when I go to class, I first identify the needs of my children. You find there are some children who are very hyper, there are children who have different disabilities in learning, maybe those who are learning slowly, those who are having problems with hearing or seeing, all those. After identifying them, then I be able to create myself and I see which learning material should I use. Which method should I apply?
At the Creative Learning Center, we used to have seminars, we used to have meetings, and these people, they could always encourage us to be confident.
I was in the Creative Learning Center and I learned how to speak English. I learned confidence. I learned how to associate with others, make art and craft. Through the counseling trainings that we used to go through, I also developed self-esteem. I had lost confidence in me because before joining it, I thought I would never study, I would never go back to school again. But I got the hope and now I'm confident and I have that self-esteem in me. It's really a blessing because I never thought of it. Many girls, especially refugees, they don't study. But as for me in the community where we live, it's really a great impact to see that I'm studying in a country that is not mine, but I've reached to that level of studying university.
Yes, I do love education. My best subject is science because it's good for me.
Mentors living in the community work with girls and their families to help them address the challenges they are facing as a family. They teach the parents and children how to talk to each other so that the parent values education.
And I walk a journey with children and communities to make sure that lives of children, lives of families, and lives of people working with children are actually improving over time.
They urge the parents to put equal value on educating their daughters as they do for their sons. and they help parents to build economic resilience so that they can provide for their children's education.
Personally, I used those skills to make some snacks in my community, of which I sold and got some money that I used to save, as we are told by our mentors that it is good to save. So I saved some money, which helped me later in life. Still during the center, as they told us that it is good to save, so we saved some money. As I made some snacks, I saved, and my mom also, in her little income, she used to save at the center, and they used to provide some loans at the center, yeah, which helped mommy to get some capital to put in the business.
So saving has helped the parent in so many ways. One, start the income generating activity. Two, taking the children back to school and keep them there to school. Three, has helped them in time of problem, time of crisis. Take an example of lockdown. And another important thing also, saving has helped the parent to develop the spirit of togetherness. Parents have gained the advantage of girl education.
We also ensure that teachers and schools receive high quality training in order to make sure that schools are a safe and engaging place to learn and thrive.
But after joining Chua, yes, now as a New Hope, we have a child protection policy. We have well-kept and functional financial systems. We have a safeguarding policy. We have a functional board, that is the electing world organization. We are becoming a stronger organization, and I think children are getting better services that are going to help them thrive in their potentials.
Now for the trainings we've been getting, the online trainings, the Zoom trainings, it has really helped me as a teacher. Me, I didn't know that there are those virtual trainings, or I can even teach virtually. But now, me as Jacqueline, I can teach online and give some, even that knowledge I've got from Crane, or the trainings they've been giving to us, I go back and then share it with the teachers in the mainstream.
And I've been trying to also support my fellow teachers here in sharing the skills I get from the trainings from Crane, and then I bring on ground such as skills like integrating IT in learning. I try my best to at least bring teachers on board. I bring them in a resource room. They get ideas, the best skills in computer, and they be able to integrate their learning, their teaching with IT.
Then we look at the child protection. We try to bring in the parents to teach them how there is that rapport, that excellent rapport between the teacher, the parent, and the child, to teach them how to protect these children they have.
When schools were closed in 2020, we changed how we worked to make sure children were able to keep learning. In the darkest of days of lockdown, mentors talked to parents and the child to give some basic psychosocial support that helped the families to stay together. With the help of the network of mentors and teachers based in local communities, learners were able to continue receiving resources and tuition, and to gather in small groups with teachers or peer-to-peer learning groups when it was permissible.
Because we used to follow them up to their homes, we call them, we talk to them. So I think parents got encouraged in that way. That's why they were all able to report back in the first 2 weeks of the term.
I'm still learning because of Crane. It has helped me sending learning materials, feedbacks, and messages. They call my mother and I go and I pick the learning materials. This has helped me because my mind can be open.
During the lockdown, I went there, I got some books, I got dictionaries, and they encouraged me to read hard books. And even during the process that other people are lacking food, they are lacking what to eat, but they have managed to help me and support me and provide me with food.
The first thing we did was to access their parents through making phone calls and then requesting parents to give us permission to continue coaching their children in this lockdown. So what we did, we could set questions and then send them on the parents' phones. Children could access them through learning SMSs and then write their answers. And then in the evening, we could give them time. In the evening, we could make learning coaching calls. And then we know what the child has answered. Then from there, we would make corrections in different subjects. So what we did as teachers, we sat still and we devised means of developing what we call learning packs in different subjects, social studies, maths, English, and other, even secondary resources. So they could pick them and take them to their homes and work out numbers. And we could give them guidelines on how to go about the resource. This learning resource was made in a way that even without a teacher, it could act as a teacher because we could explain topic by topic and in details and give illustrations and everything. So we could just call on children to check on them. How far have they gone? On which page are they? So we used to help children like that.
As a result of the lockdown interventions, girls in the project saw a 500% improvement in literacy and a 400% improvement in numeracy. This compared with a predicted national learning deficit of 2.8 years of other learners in Uganda.
We had a program that was running in our communities that we called Teach My Neighbor. By this program, we emphasized that children that are in a close neighborhood in different levels of education support fellow children to learn. And we emphasize that if Grace is in primary 7 and Rachel is in primary 4, Grace could visit Rachel's family in the evenings and they share something, they revise together the learning materials that Crane provided in the communities.
I want to be a surgeon when I'm done with my studies because I love helping people.
When I finish my studies, I want to become a doctor.
Those people say that engineering courses are always for boys. As a girl, and as I learn my rights from Crane, I know that I can do what men can do.
But through that saving, I've managed to save some money and to start up a clinic which will help my community.
Parents and children supported by Crane have experienced less abuse, less financial collapse, less teenage pregnancy, and higher learning results than national data indicates. We believe that the success of our work is based on helping children and parents, learners and teachers to understand each other and seek the best interest of the child. Crane, keeping children safe.